S.H.I.E.L.D. to protect people.
Captain.
To build a better world sometimes means tearing the old one down.
And that makes enemies.
We're gonna neutralize a lot of threats before they even happen.
Thought the punishment usually came after the crime.
S.H.I.E.L.D. takes the world as it is, not as we'd like it to be.
This isn't freedom. This is fear.
You need to keep both eyes open.
Before we get started,
Does anyone want to get out?
Time.
Gear up.
And welcome back, everybody, to Unpopular Reviews Entertainment, the Wolf Pack. And we are going through our series of Captain America. And now we are made it to Captain America, the Winter Soldier. I am Mike Papanox. I am joined by Freckle Sensei and Vic Damone. What's going on, gentlemen? How y'all doing this evening?
Chilling, man.
Listen, we are here. Listen, I love the beginning of the year. We got new movies coming out, and around the corner, we got Captain America, Brave New World, or Brave World. I keep saying Brave New World. I keep wanting to sing the song, right? A whole new world. So, but we are talking about Captain America 2 after the events of New York, the Avengers, following the Avengers as well. Steve Rogers, aka Captain America, Chris Evans himself, lives in this nation capital, and he tries to adjust to modern life, just trying to adjust to it. And the attack on S.H.I.E.L.D. begins. And to me, in my opinion, this is where the tipping scale of the MCU turns. At the time of this movie, I would say up until we started recording these shows and going through all these three, at this time, this was my favorite Marvel movie outside of the Avengers movies. But talking about this film, going off of the first one, we know at the end of the first one, we lose Bucky. He dies. Everybody knows the story of Winter Soldier. Coming into this one, you get introduced to who will now be Captain America, Sam. On your left, that's a big saying around. Even in my house now, when my wife we go walking or jogging on your left, because my wife always slapping me. For someone who only got one lung, she still got more energy than I got half the time. But that's a woman's thing, I guess. Or I'm just fat. Fuck it. But as we sit here and we go through this, Captain America starts to realize between in the beginning, the first mission of the thing, he's got one mission. Scarlett. Maximoff has her own mission. This starts to crumble the seeds within S.H.I.E.L.D. for Cap, and he starts to realize a whole lot of things happen. But at this point, this is when S.H.I.E.L.D. makes their big power move, and you realize, and at this time, I always tell people, I used to love the show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
Because if you followed that show,
yes,
you didn't have to follow it to know the movies, but if you watched the show and you got to the movies, you kind of knew who was bad. At this point, you had the guy they rescued in the first mission. I knew from watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that he was part of Hydra. And at this point, things start to take place and shift. You get introduced to what's his name's character in this. Not only you get Bucky in this movie for Winter Soldier, but you also get introduced to Robert Redford, Alexander Pierce, who we talked about doing Captain America First Avengers. It's really Red Skull.
Yeah,
they don't go that far into it, but if you know the lore of the story, that's who Red Skull is, because that's the exact same cartoon had this storyline in it, but they just never went with it in the movie theater. But gentlemen, I'm gonna start with you, Vic. When we get to this movie, like I said, at this point, the action, watching to this day, that knife fight, that first fight scene between Cap and Winter Soldier, to me, it's just, I just think Marvel does nothing better than their espionage movies, their spy movies. I will equivalent this movie, Winter Soldier, to Spider-Man 2, just being the best in the universe, in my opinion. Vic, your thoughts on this movie?
Well, I'm glad I watched it back because It made me think to how long ago did they have this plan for Sam to be the next Captain America? Because they introduce him in this movie like Cap's best friend in a way, at least and it's interesting because he's basically Cap's modern best friend versus his old best friend. And now years later, it kind of makes you think like, yo, was this an original plan? And mind you, it even makes you think back to Captain America and the Winter Soldier as far as that show comes together, because those two were in this movie. So it just makes you think like, how much did they plan ahead? And that's what I was thinking about throughout the whole movie, like, because you just looking back at trying to figure out how the story is connected, because like you assume that they just make stuff up as they're going along. But I mean, it's very interesting how they just take nuggets and just sometimes either make a new story or they just had a plan from the beginning. You know what I mean? So like I really enjoyed all of that. And mind you, not just that, also seeing Natasha, because I completely forgot how much of a big role she had in this movie. And it was huge, so I really did enjoy it, because the other thing about it was it's like a direct sequel to the original Captain America movie, right? So now a lot of these Marvel movies, they're all connected to each other now, and they're like connected to the shows and connected to, like, it just makes it feel like one big story, right? But this is going back, way back, and it's just interesting, because now, like, especially after seeing Endgame and knowing all of this stuff, like it really is interesting to watch this back and just see, because I really liked it. I don't think
for a movie that cost 170 million worldwide, it grossed 714 million. Shocking that I didn't find this out till earlier today, that it only made, and I say only, right? Like, it's like 259 million domestically. That's in the United States, but it made 400 almost over a half a billion alone of that, 454 million worldwide. This was a phenomenon. This was at this moment, this was the biggest movie outside the Avengers that the Marvel Cinematic Universe had.
You know what? I remember the marketing. I remember even that commercial. Like when Bucky caught the shield, everybody was like, "Oh shit, this is gonna be crazy right here. Oh, Captain's gonna get it." You know what I mean? And the way that it ended was interesting, because it clearly led you open for more. And I just find it interesting just seeing how far Bucky Barnes has come over the years. You know what I mean? Like from Winter Soldier to White Wolf.
You bring me another white boy to
White
hell.
Wolf.
Freckle Sensei, your take on Winter Soldier, Captain America.
So my take is like this movie is arguably, if you're getting rid of the Avengers, because I know it's not fair that, because then we're gonna have Avengers 1 all the way down in the top 4, top 5. This is solidified top 3, because I'm biased. I'm black and I'm biased. So my number
Black
one,
Panther, of course.
My number one is going to be Black Panther all day. But this is definitely top 3 Marvel movies of all time, because one, the synopsis alone was amazing. To show us how great S.H.I.E.L.D. was from Iron Man, and how great S.H.I.E.L.D. was for Avengers, and how much of redemption it was to redeem Coulson and all this. And then you get to the second Captain America, and then you realize, oh, these mother is evil. Like they all of it is evil. All of it's infiltrated. That's why even in the trailer, in the trailer poster, I loved how they showed like the tentacles coming out and everything, because some people was like, well, is this going to be a tentacle monster? No, the tentacles represent the people that are infiltrating
Hydra.
Yeah, they infiltrating S.H.I.E.L.D, aka Hydra. And it just goes into depth. It's just like you said, Mike, the espionage feeling of it, the having them having to go incognito so many times, having them have to go underground. Even Nick Fury not even really being in this, but kind of being in it in a sense, was even spot on. A chef kiss, like the whole, like I said, the whole entire thing was great. The acting, the fighting, the reminiscing of Bucky coming back, and he's like, Bucky, and he's like, who the hell is Bucky? And then it's like that moment, everything about it, and just like you said, Vic, like the lead up of us finally getting where we at now, which is Sam taking on the mantle. It's like it was in the making all the way back to the second one. It's like, you know, maybe Cap had that moment, had that Die Hard moment where he's like, maybe I am getting too old for this shit. He's like,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And you know what I'm saying? He's thinking like, all right, if I ever happen to go, who's going to take this mantle? Because it's not me. Like I am Captain America, but
see, I just think at this point I think as we're talking about this, we're knowing what happens, obviously. Right. At this point of this movie, none of that was in Cap's mind. None of that. None of that was him not passing a torch. None of that. At this point, he's still trying to make his country the best it can be. And then he finds out, you go that very first big fight scene. First of all, shout out to George St. Spartacus Pierre's in this movie. So, Cap, huh? Put your shield down. Really fight me. Still got his ass beat, right? But then you go to that first big fight scene where you got Crossbones in the elevator and Captain America steps inside. Anybody want to leave now? And he whoops all their asses. Everybody. And then you go from that into the car scene where the car, and he's like, yeah, no shit. And, and as they're attacking Samuel Jackson, trying to get to Nick Fury and just completely separate what was, as we knew about it, being S.H.I.E.L.D, right? You go from that to, at this point, he's finding out that Sharon Carter exists as, oh, that's your niece? Oh, wow. Right. You know, so much in this movie. Toby Jones gets to become the computer for S.H.I.E.L.D, who was Zola, who was the what would you call him? The minion, if you will, for Red Skull. Just so much in this movie, stacking on top of the action, the dialogue. To me, that's what really makes this movie. It's the dialogue that's written before these guys. And like you say, and I'm not even speaking on it as much as Vic did as far as the whole Bucky scenario. Yeah. Right? Because it's called the Winter Soldier for a reason. You know, and it just shows you at this point of these movies how deep Marvel was prepared to do this and look in the future. And this is why many people honestly do say, and I don't want to sit in that boat of I'm a DC guy, I'm a Marvel guy, I'm a comic book cartoon guy. Right. I love them all. Right. But when this came out, you could easily look at DC and go, what the F are y'all doing? Because Marvel got a plan. Okay. Yeah. And they're executing this thing as if anybody knows about how you ferment, or how you can't say the word, ferment wine. Okay. I took wine tasting class, by the way. It's not as easy as you think it is. But how wine is processed is how, to me, Marvel processed this whole MCU universe. And I think it all starts with the first Avengers, Captain America, and how he goes from that. Vic, thumbs up, thumbs down, favorite parts, least if you have it. I don't have a least favorite part in the movie. Like I said, at this point, this is my favorite MCU movie of all time at this point of us doing this video. Your take.
Well, I mean, one thing I found interesting is how they had all the stuff in the museum. And like Captain America.
Oh, yeah.
Looking at his, doing that. And then the other thing that I found interesting about this was it made me think of Captain America and the Winter Soldier, and just the way that whole show played out, right? Because it was like Black history. You know what I mean? And the fact that it came out in February was just perfect. It was. You know what I mean?
It was like,
yes. Pissed a lot of people off.
But then at the same time, like, I don't think that Sam was ever an affirmative action hire, for lack of a better phrase, or a DEI hire. You feel what I'm saying? Because I think that they had this plan from the beginning, and it's not necessarily just catering to the current culture. You know,
Right.
It's not because, like, you know, like the Joe Biden administration was all about inclusivity. So, like,
I knew we could not get through a Captain America movie without having some kind of talk about the American society of some. Normally, it's Ronald Reagan, okay, but we ain't talking about the 80s.
It really is.
Because the thing is that
That's what we're talking about. The
movies-
80s. He's definitely gonna go to Ronald Reagan. I mean, it
No,
is
but
all his
movies-
fault.
But movies is
Just about everything that's going on right now is.
I mean, movies is straight marketing. Like, you know, it's all marketing about the times. Like when we talk about Wall Street, you know that's Ronald Reagan. But anyway, like this whole thing right here, it really makes you think back, because watching Captain America and the Winter Soldier, like you feel like it's catering toward a certain topic or a certain narrative, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It dealt with Black Lives Matter and everything else that was going on in the country at that time. But that's why I just don't believe that they had that planned. As
far as Captain America and the Winter Soldier, no. But
no, I'm talking about as far as Sam becoming Captain America. I don't think it was ever planned.
I feel like they did.
At this point, it was never planned. This happened because
you know why?
I'll tell you why I know this one for a fact. That this only happened because those people didn't sign those contracts no more, and they demanded more money.
Probably.
That's what that happened.
I'll give you that.
Chris Evans and them wanted more money.
Yeah,
Marvel said no. And now, as we fast forward, we know, guess what? They're all coming back.
Well, yeah,
anyway.
They need that payday.
Yeah, but they got that Disney money now.
They got that Disney money.
They got that Disney money. Hey, look, that Disney money is
Fact, man. Like said, Disney World is running under snow. So hey, they got long money. You know what I'm saying? Anyway,
they do.
But yeah, man, thumbs up clearly, because you're already
up from me as well. What about you, Captain America?
Definitely thumbs up. Love.
Is that 3 thumbs up from the No Man?
That's 3 thumbs up.
Tonight's broadcast has been commandeered by the secret society No Man, National Organization of Men Against Amazonian Masterhood.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
So this guy finished watching Gladiator 2, by the way, for the 5th time. Final thoughts, Freckles. I know you were trying to say something before the clip played. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Basically, like everything about this, like this, the music, the dialogue, the casting was perfect. That's why it's top 3. Everything was perfect. Everything made sense. There was no plot holes. There was nothing left out. And I even enjoyed the after credit. The after credit was crazy. Like I still to this day, I was shocked. I was shocked that they went that route. But like I said, overall, you cannot hate this movie at all. You just can't.
Still wish that they'd have pulled the trigger in making Alexander Pierce remove the face and that he was Red Skull. That's my only thing. But hey, that's our opinion of Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Comment below. Let us know your thoughts of this movie. Did y'all like this movie? Did y'all not like this movie? Are you an idiot to this movie? Sorry. The thoughts and opinions of Mike Knox, one of Mike Knox, and not everybody here on Unpopular Review Entertainment. But still, if you don't like this movie, your name must be Chris, the executive consultant. We're out here, y'all. We'll see y'all next week for Captain America Civil War. We're out. No, you know him. He don't like nothing. We'll see y'all next time, y'all. Peace. That's the truth, Ruth.
I joined S.H.I.E.L.D. to protect people.
Captain,
To build a better world sometimes means tearing the old one down.
that makes enemies.
We're going to neutralize a lot of threats before they even happen.
Thought the punishment usually came after the crime.
S.H.I.E.L.D. takes the world as it is, not as we'd like it to be.
This isn't freedom. This is fear.
You need to keep both eyes open.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Time.
You're up.
Nice 21. I'm about to switch shirts real quick.
Bitch. Let's go to the other.